Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Ẹ kú dédé àsìkò yìí gbogbo ibi tẹ́ ti ń wò wá káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè àgbáyé lórí Western Spring Television tó kalẹ̀ lórí ìkànnì Star Times channel 190 la wà ní Star Times. Bákan náà ni ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ wá káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè àgbáyé lórí rédíò amóhùnbúgbàmù ẹlẹ́rọ àmì tìtì Rave 91.7 FM tó kalẹ̀ tágùn bẹ́lẹ́wò nílùú Òṣogbo. Ẹ má bínú èrè tá a kù lọ́nà ló já pẹ́ lónìí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa lórí rédíò Rave 91.7 FM àti ń sọ ṣáájú wípé bí ẹ bá ṣe ń wò wá ní Western Spring Television channel 190 náà lẹ́ẹ̀ máa gbọ́ wa ní orí ìkànnì rédíò wa Rave 91.7 FM ó ti dọbẹ̀ lónìí àdúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run Olódùmarè. Ètò Ebami Koya ló ń dojú ìwòran yín ní ojú ìwòran yín ní Western Spring Television at Rave 91.7 FM àgùnbẹ́lẹ́wò lóṣogbo. Ṣẹ́gun Mákindé lórúkọ tèmi ọmọ ẹlẹ́ẹ̀sìn rèé ní fọ́n òrùlú ọmọ akékàkàkà kọ́lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́ tọ́lọ́rọ̀ bá gbọ́ kí ni bàbá kú bàbá Ọlọ́run ó ṣe gan torí pé òótọ́ tí gbórílẹ̀-èdè lékè náà la gbé lọ. Lórí ètò Ebami Koya ni adániwáyé ti ń dẹ́rìn pẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn tí aráyé ń fi ọwọ́ ọ̀la gbá lójú. Ẹ má wulẹ̀ ṣaagùn síra yín, ẹ má wulẹ̀ léra yín pa. Tẹ́nìkan bá yàn yín jẹ, ẹ má bù wá sórí ètò Ebami Koya. Iléeṣẹ́ Rave 91.7 FM àti Western Spring Television a wà lórí wà ní Star Times àti Rave 91.7 FM tẹ́ a gbọ́ lórí rédíò a wà ní YouTube. Ẹ má bọ́ kájọ sọ àpẹ̀tù sáwọ̀ tí inú kọ̀kíní àti inú kọ̀kejì yóò sì dùn. Tẹ́ ẹ gbàgbé pé èké ní pẹ̀rú èpè ní polè ilẹ̀ dídà ní pọ̀rẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni alájọbí báyìí ní pààyè kan tó bá ṣe bí wọ́n ní bá a ṣe bí tẹ́nìkan òbí ní táwọn ẹ̀ka tẹ́nìkan ò béèrè ó pẹ́ bóyá abini òní ṣàìbí ni bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni abèrè òní ṣàìbèrè wò fẹ́yìn tẹ́ ẹ̀ ti ń gbọ́ wa ní orí rédíò Rave 91.7 FM ṣáájú ọ̀rọ̀ kan bẹ tí à ti ń fàbọ̀ látẹ̀yìnwá èyí tó ní í ṣe pẹ̀lú alájẹṣẹ́kù ibi torí ká mọ́ jìyà làáfíà mọ́ jìyà lọ́fà tá a bá ń ṣẹgbẹ́ alájẹṣẹ́kù tálájẹṣẹ́kù wá ń ṣe bí alájẹtán ó yẹ kí ẹ̀yin ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà àti káàkiri àgbáyé kí ẹ bá a dá sí i. Ẹni mẹ́jọ wá náà ti wà níyìn lónìí kí ló kọ yín sà? Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ìṣọ̀lá Lukman ìbòlẹ̀ ti wá kí ló sún dórí ètò ìgàn. À ń bọ̀ náà à ń bọ̀ àfẹ́ dókè lọ.
Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Samuel Ladoke Akintola was a frontal figure in the historical moves that birthed an independent Nigeria from colonial Britain. As a freedom activist, he deployed his wits, energy, intellect and oratory skills to prepare the grounds for constitutional talks that eventually culminated in the country's independence in 1960. The 13th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land cut his teeth as a politician when he became a foundation member of Action Group, the dominant political party in the Western region, and was elected the party's parliamentary leader of opposition at the Federal House of Representatives. The crisis in the action group, which pitched Samuel Ladoke Akintola against his leader, was not only a sore point in his colorful political life, but a reversal of gains which characterized the exemplary leadership of Awolowo Akintola premiership. 23 years after his death, Oyo State University of Technology Ogbomosho was renamed Samuel Ladoke Akintola University of Technology to keep his memory alive. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ladoke Akintola as a major character in history.
Èdè Yorùbá jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn èdè tí wọ́n ń sọ ní agbègbè Niger Congo. Èdè Yorùbá gbajúgbajà ní àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè tó ń bẹ ní ẹkùn ìwọ̀ oòrùn ilẹ̀ adúláwọ̀. Ó kéré tán, àwọn ènìyàn bíi mílíọ̀nù 14 ló ń sọ èdè Yorùbá lónìí. Ètò akọ́mọlédè ló ń dé sójú ìwòran yín láti iléeṣẹ́ móhùnmáwòrán WSTV ìkànnì 102 channel 190 lórí StarTimes. Folúṣọ́ Ayaolúwagbémiga, ìyá ìjọ pèdèpèdè, ìyá akọ́mọlédè ló kọ tèmi. Yorùbá dùn púpọ̀, Yorùbá ò lè kú, Yorùbá ò lè parun. Tiwa làṣà, tiwa lèdè, tiwa nìṣẹ̀ṣe akọ́mọlédè.
Bẹ́gùn ò bá jáde, mọ̀rìnwó la kọ́kọ́ rí, ọwọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ ní síwájú ìjó, ẹsẹ̀ kàtàkàtà ní síwájú rìn, bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ti ń gbúrò wa, a tún ti dé náà nù. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò Owambe Unlimited pẹ̀lú èmi ọmọ yín, olólùfẹ́ yín, ọ̀rẹ́ yín, Suliat tẹ́túmọ̀ sí Mọ́rẹ́níkejì. Ẹ lè pè mí ní Sùsù, tó bá wẹ̀ lómi, a sọ pé ìyálòde àríyá, gbogbo orúkọ tẹ́ ẹ bá pè mí, kò sí èyí tí mi ò ní jẹ yín. Ẹ farabalẹ̀, kẹ́ ẹ máa gbádùn ètò Owambe Unlimited lórí ìkànnì Western Spring Television ní ìkànnì 190. Ibẹ̀ ni Owambe Unlimited ń bọ̀ wá, ẹ fàpùrẹ̀ tẹ̀dí, kẹ́ ẹ máa gbádùn ètò àríyá wa.
Mo ń sọ fún yín pé ẹ máa wo Owambe Unlimited lórí Western Spring Television.
adúpẹ́ pọ̀ lórí gbogbo èyí tí ẹ̀ ń wò.
Western Spring Television.
Gbadamosi Adegoke Adelabu was a prominent figure in Ibadan politics and Western region before Nigeria's independence. He was a key founder of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, a political party that held lofty the torch of liberty for the two West African countries. He carved a niche for himself as a wordsmith and a creative speaker. The nickname Kwenkelemens was a natively corrupted version of peculiar mess, his bombastic English language style often used to score proceedings at the parliament. The author of Africa in Ebullition, a handbook of freedom for Nigerian nationalists, was Nigeria's Federal Minister of Natural Resources and Social Services between 1955 and 1956. He died in an auto crash on the 25th March 1958 at the age of 42. Western Spring Television identifies Adegoke Adelabu as a watershed character in history.
Can you imagine the feeling when you get your news as they break with facts and clarity? Our news are reported as it is.
In Africa, and all those who masterminded the way it happened, we have to pay a price.
Enjoy Western programs, projecting culture and tradition to the world. Brought to you as the break and recapped every hour for your update.
We must never forget the sacrifices of the heroes of Nigeria's democracy.
Produced and brought to you in a unique way never before seen.
Western Spring
And Western Spring Television. Television is coming home in your color and culture.
The 1914 Amalgamation Treaty is synonymous to the birth of Nigeria. Frederick Lugard, a British army captain and an outlaw who struck gold in Africa, became the instrument used by destiny to make it happen. The amalgamation of Nigeria was designed for economic reasons by the colonial administration to offset Northern Protectorate budget deficit by Southern Protectorate surplus returns. The amalgamation had ad initio created imbalance in the economic political structure of Nigeria and was responsible for the persistent hiccups in the efforts to forge a united country till today. Nigeria's amalgamation was labeled as the mistake of 1914 by native northern conservatives who neither wanted it nor contributed anything significant to its sustenance. Western Spring Television identifies with Amalgamation Treaty of 1914 as a watershed event in history. The Berlin Conference of 1884 defined the configuration of Africa, which hitherto existed as a continent of multiple kingdoms and empires under native rulers. The conference, otherwise referred to as Congo Conference, regulated European colonization and trade in Africa as initiated by German leader Otto von Bismarck. The Berlin Conference is often called the scramble for and partitioning of Africa, as each of the imperial powers carved separate portions of the continent for themselves without recourse to racial and cultural identities and differences. 137 years after the Berlin Conference was held, Africa remains a legitimized playground for European nations that sought to exploit its wealth and resources and manipulate its human capital to promote trades and investments of Western powers. Western Springer Television identifies Berlin Conference as a major event in history.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adeoye Oyewole.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of every Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Evelyn Ohiole, King Eve, how are you today?
I'm good, I'm fine, I'm alive.
I really feel like she's not giving the right answer to the question. When one asks you, how are you? And you said, you're saying, I'm alive. It's very annoying, seriously. How are you? I'm fine. I feel I'm fine would be the right answer instead of I'm alive. Not that I asked you if you're dead before.
Go and check all these 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, everybody, they are extraordinarily sexually active.
I feel is being unnecessarily hyper when it comes to the issue of sex. Because we talk about other topics and it feels so reserved. It really doesn't have anything much to say when it comes to other stuff. But when it's the issue of sex, I believe it's being unnecessarily hyper. That's when I have to pick an issue with him. I mean, it's just being unnecessarily there when we're talking about sex. Just like a child, his mom just got him his favorite chocolate or ice cream, very happy. Doing as though he doesn't have sex for a day, he's going to die.
When it comes to finance, women also support their husbands financially. You need me emotionally. You need me spiritually.
Cassie is an amazing person, but I hate the too much attachment to that gender. I need you spiritually, I need you mentally. I can get these things anywhere with money. If you go by the topic was, who does marriage favors the most? I know how many jobless women they marry every Saturday. They are saying it favors you, Are they vex so?
Growing up, when I was in the world, we've heard of
Why, you know?
Well, MC Too Much said, he likes saying when I was in the world. And the last time I checked, well, it looks a bit innocent, facially, but deep down, is he actually out of this world? We're all in the world now. As long as you're alive, you're in the world. So MC Too Much, I beg when you talk about that. I don't want to hear that. Next time you talk about I kiss my words.
I think I have a problem with you saying ladies are champion, and that's the problem. Always trying to attach so much importance to that gender.
It's giving insecurity, it's giving low self-esteem, it's giving a blatant display of egoism. Because at the end of the day, a man who is secured in his words, a man who is confident of who he is, will not really be disturbed as to whether women are being referred to as champions or not. I mean, at the end of the day, Joseph's a really great guy, but whether he likes it or not, women are champions.
How would you like a TV station that breaks the barriers of your TV screen? A TV station that brings infotainment to your forefront, breaking the conceptual fourth wall. Giving you television that is personal to you and your everyday life. Indigenous broadcasting for every man, cutting across the shackles of age, class, and language. With the best of equipment in digitized broadcasting. At Western Spring Television, your television experience has never been this magical.
We'll bring you the best in news and programs, breaking news to you as it drops from where it drops.
Talk shows that keep you glued to your seats, sports programs not void of in-depth analysis, entertainment programs cutting across all ages, political analysis with all its accompanying controversies, social responsibility because we care. Western Nigeria gave us our first feel of television. Western Spring Television is taking us to the next level.
Western Spring Television, ours it is. Western Spring Television, ours it is.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West. And Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
The British Empire was the largest and the most powerful in the world. At its zenith, the empire embraced a quarter of the Earth's land surface and imposed her imperial majesty's rule on more than 458 million peoples across nations and continents. The empire took off with overseas possessions and trading posts established by England, spread over 3 million kilometers between 16th and early 18th century. Like previous empires, the British Empire began to crumble on its weight of overstretched territories and growing unrest in our various colonies. Today, the British Empire no longer exists. What is in place is the Commonwealth of Nations, a loose association of sovereign states which recognize the King of England as the titular head. Western Spring Television identifies the British Empire as a watershed empire in history. The name Adolf Hitler exudes a gale of bile from millions of people who were victims of his autocratic rule and love, from fanatical supporters of his imperial aggression. Born April 20, 1889, at a small Austrian town sandwiched between Austro-German frontier, Adolf Hitler spent most of his childhood in Linz, the capital of Upper Austria. As a very prominent stakeholder in the horrific events of conflicts in Europe, Adolf Hitler could simply go off as the sole mover of the Second World War. 40 million Jews were murdered in the gas chambers of various Nazi camps on the orders of Adolf Hitler. Thousands of Adolf Hitlers still live in Germany today, but the majority of them are elderly and were named before the end of the Second World War. As the name pales into vanishing rarity, 13 children, according to official records, were named Adolf Hitler between 2006 and 2013. Western Spring Television identifies Adolf Hitler as a major character in history. Samuel Ladoke Akintola was a frontal figure in the historical moves that birthed an independent Nigeria from colonial Britain. As a freedom activist, he deployed his wits, energy, intellect, and oratory skills to prepare the grounds for constitutional talks that eventually culminated in the country's independence in 1960. The 13th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land cut his teeth as a politician when he became a foundation member of Action Group, the dominant political party in the Western region, and was elected the party's parliamentary leader of opposition at the Federal House of Representatives. The crisis in the Action Group, which pitched Samuel Ladoke Akintola against his leader, was not only a sore point in his colorful political life, but a reversal of gains which characterized the exemplary leadership of Awolowo Akintola premiership. 23 years after his death, Oyo State University of Technology Ogbomosho was renamed Samuel Ladoke Akintola University of Technology to keep his memory alive. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ladoke Akintola as a major character in history.
Èdè Yorùbá jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn èdè tí wọ́n ń sọ ní agbègbè Niger Congo. Èdè Yorùbá gbajúgbajà ní àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè tó ń bẹ ní ẹkùn ìwọ̀ oòrùn ilẹ̀ adúláwọ̀. Ó kéré tán, àwọn ènìyàn bíi mílíọ̀nù 14 ló ń sọ èdè Yorùbá lónìí. Ètò akọ́mọlédè ló ń dé sójú ìwòran yín láti iléeṣẹ́ móhùnmáwòrán WSTV ìkànnì 150 channel 190 lórí StarTimes. Folúṣọ́ Ayaolúwagbémiga, ìyá ìjọ pèdèpèdè, ìyá akọ́mọlédè ló kọ tèmi. Yorùbá dùn púpọ̀, Yorùbá ò lè kú, Yorùbá ò lè parun, tiwa làṣà, tiwa lédè tiwa níṣẹ̀ṣe àkọmọlédè.
The name Adolf Hitler exudes a gale of bile from millions of people who were victims of his autocratic rule and love, from fanatical supporters of his imperial aggression. Born April 20, 1889, at a small Austrian town sandwiched between Austro-German frontier, Adolf Hitler spent most of his childhood in Linz, the capital of Upper Austria. As a very prominent stakeholder in the horrific events of conflicts in Europe, Adolf Hitler could simply go off as the sole mover of the Second World War. 40 million Jews were murdered in the gas chambers of various Nazi camps on the orders of Adolf Hitler. Thousands of Adolf Hitlers still live in Germany today, but the majority of them are elderly and were named before the end of the Second World War. As the name pales into vanishing rarity, 13 children, according to official records, were named Adolf Hitler between 2006 and 2013. Western Spring Television identifies Adolf Hitler as a major character in history.
How do we hear? How do we see? What makes up the air we breathe? How does a plane fly over the sea? How do the planets float so weightlessly? It's technology. Science, you and me. We're learning every day. Engine leads the way.
I love pineapples. This looks so beautiful. Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to Engine, an educational show for the whole family.
Am I late?
You're just in time.
I've been running all over the place. I'm so exhausted and hungry.
You are in luck. I just got back from the market and I've got these delicious snacks for us to eat.
Wow, this is amazing. But how come I'm so hungry? It's not even lunchtime.
You are hungry because your body has used up lots of energy running around. You need more energy, and we get that energy from food. Your brain sends a very loud and clear signal.
Signal? I don't hear anything.
Of course you do. You hear it by feeling hungry. Hunger is your brain telling your body that it needs some energy so that you can eat and acquire that energy to do whatever your body needs to do. Take this ripe banana to munch on while we wait for lunch. But as you do that, why don't we all go on a journey of discovery?
What kind of journey? To some exotic place?
Kind of. Actually, we are going very close, but we have to become very small to get there. Are you ready?
What's happening?
We're going on a food journey from the first bite we take to when we pour it out. We're going to discover what happens to that tasty bite of food we eat. We'll find out why we have to eat and understand how different foods can affect us differently. Let's switch on our brains, put on our thinking hats, inquire and learn about food.
We're learning every day.
Where are we?
This is where it all starts, the mouth. Here we cut the food into smaller pieces with our teeth. The chunks of food are mixed with saliva, which makes them easier to swallow. Saliva also contains chemicals which start digestion of sugars.
Digestion of sugars?
That's right. Our food is made of tiny little building blocks. They are called nutrients. There are several categories of nutrients: proteins, fats, carbohydrates, also called sugars, minerals, vitamins, and water. different kinds of foods have different amounts of nutrients. For example, in a banana like yours, there are natural sugars, some proteins, minerals, and vitamins, but almost no fat. In meat, on the other hand, a lot of fat, protein, some water, minerals, and vitamins, but relatively small amounts of sugars. When we eat, our body is disassembling the food into small pieces, single nutrients. This process of turning the food into nutrients is called digestion.
Ah, I see. So here in the mouth is where the digestion of sugars start. But what about the other nutrients?
They will be digested later. Our journey has just begun. After the food is chewed, the tongue pushes the food down into your throat, into the esophagus, a tube built of strong muscles that contract and move the food down to the stomach. See you there.
Science, you and me.
This is the stomach. When empty, it's about the size of your fist. But an adult person can load it up with food to up to 3 liters. It's also made up of strong muscles. They contract to mix the food with digestive chemicals. In addition to breaking down food, the digestive chemicals also help to kill bacteria that might be in the eaten food.
Oh, it's a bit messy down here.
Here in the stomach, the proteins are digested into single building blocks called amino acids. Digestion of fat starts here as well, and digestion of sugars continues.
Tell me more about these nutrients.
So, after digestion, there are many nutrients from food floating in the stomach. What does the body do with them all? We use these nutrients taken from food to build our own body or to use them to produce energy. Proteins are the actual building blocks. Sugars and fats are burned to get energy. Vitamins regulate our functions, heal our wounds, and boost our immune system so that our body can work properly. Some minerals are used as construction material, like calcium, that makes our bones harder. Let me show you how energetic some of these nutrients can be. My mouth is watering already as we are going to visit a chocolate making workshop. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Sarenda. Here at Moonbeam Chocolate in Kampala, we make chocolate from bean to bar. Chocolate receives a lot of bad press because of its high fat and sugar content, but quality chocolate, especially dark chocolate, also contains a lot of nutrients, iron and magnesium. There are 2 kinds of nutrients our body uses to get energy: carbohydrates, in other words, sugar, and fat. We can easily check that those 2 are truly energetic. Let us look at sugar. What happens if we put sugar on fire? Will it burn? This flame is really hot, over 1,000 degrees Celsius. It is hot enough to melt gold or copper. No wonder our sugar starts melting too. It is liquid sugar now. You see how energetic sugars are? Look how rapidly the energy is transformed into heat and light. All right, and how about fat? Is it equally energetic? Actually, even more. Let's try. Cocoa butter only starts to melt at body temperature. So we will use regular cooking oil for this experiment. We will pour some oil to this container. This is a simple lamp made from a drinking glass and a tin can lid. Now we need to make a wick, a piece of inflammable rope. We will use a twisted piece of cotton made from an old t-shirt. Okay, let's moisten the wick with the oil and put it into the container. Ready. Time to burn it. 3, 2, 1. Look carefully. This is not the material burning, but the oil. The wick remains almost intact, and the burning fat gives us light and heat. What we've just built is an oil lamp. If there is no electricity, no flashlight, no candle, you can always quickly build one for yourself. It will burn for a long time because fat is very energetic. It contains twice as much energy as sugar, but it burns slower and in a more peaceful way than sugar. This is why our body uses sugar or carbohydrates when we rapidly need more energy, for example, during sports or other physical exercises. After all this science, I think I deserve a bite of Ebami dark chocolate bar.
It's technology.
Did you know that water is an important nutrient? It transports various elements in our veins and arteries. It's also used for cooling and heating different body parts so our entire body can maintain proper temperature.
It looks like we need many diverse nutrients to be healthy.
Exactly. Remember to eat many different kinds of food to fuel your body properly. Eat many fresh vegetables and fruits, meat, fish, and milk products. Have some grain or flour-based meals, and remember to drink enough water. This diversity of food will bring you good health and energy to learn and play.
Speaking of play, can we take a ride down this tube?
Yes, let's continue our journey through the digestive system. This tube you're referring to is the small intestine. This is where the digestion process finishes.
So this will be the end?
No, not too fast. Disassembling food is a really long and complicated process. This is why we need a long and complicated digestive system. The small intestine is a 7-meter long tube inside you. Let's go see it up close.
I think I'll be happy to get out of this place.
Vitamins and minerals are substances that are found in the food we eat. Your body needs them to work properly so you grow and develop just like you should. Bacteria and fungi and plants produce their own vitamins. Our bodies can't.